Welcome back to part 5 of the Bugatti Bolide design. And I left the blueprint in part 3 in the description, and also in part 2 and part 1. Okay, so let's get started here. Let's have a look at the picture of what we're going to accomplish today in this tutorial. So what we're going to work on in this section here, and then this curvature area here, and coming up to this section in this area. Okay, so let's get to it. So for first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete this surface here, and then we're going to delete these sketches here. We're going to leave this for now. However, let's just jump to the features rear, and then we're just going to have a look at these curvatures. Actually, yeah, we're going to delete this one as well, and this one here, and we're going to leave this here. All right, so let's remove these black appearance from here. All right, that's good. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define this curvature here. That will go something like that. So let's grab a 3D spline, and we're going to get this 3D spline from this corner down to this line here. So press escape, and we're going to jump into the front just to make sure that we're nice and close to that surface edge. So let's pull this down something like that. Maybe come a little bit closer on that one. And then we're gonna come back on this line here, and then trying to get the other handlebar, which is here. And we're gonna try to be as close as possible we can be on that edge. Alright, so this surface here does come in this way. So we want to try to get as close as possible with that curvature on this surface area. And then it will curve out something like that. Okay, we're just gonna check from the side as well. And I want to make sure that we are close on that one as well. So let's see here. If we can get closer, a little bit closer on that one. Let's jump back into the front. Let's jump back to the side here. And that's about as close as we're going to get on that one. All right, so the next point we need to determine is going to be um, if we jump into the top plane here, the next point we need to determine is going to be this inner point here, because this will curve up to this point to create. So this is the point we're looking for. So we're gonna come into this. This is going to be one surface triangle here that curves in this way and then comes out back out that way. All right. So let's make a sketch. So let's make a sketch on the top plane here. And then we're going to add a point somewhere fairly close to the edge here. That's close enough. Okay, exit the sketch. And we're going to pull up a construction scaffolding line, which has to be a 3D sketch. So let's grab that construction line here. And of course we want to be in the Y and X, or Z and Y. Either way we work, as long as we are implementing to the Y axis. Exit that one. And now that will determine our point where that needs to be. Okay, so that looks good so far. And then exit the sketch. And we're going to grab a 3D spline. And we're going to grab that 3D spline from... Let's have a look at the picture here. Okay, so let's grab that. Let's grab that line from. It's not going to come from this point. It's going to come from somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere about there. And then we're going to step on this line. Exit the sketch. Not exit, but just press escape. And then let's get into view and from this side here. And as you can see, can pull it back down a little bit like that way. And then we'll curve up this way here. And we're going to give this a little bit of profile on this section, about that much. And let's just align it from the top as well. So I want to align close to the edge of that surface. We'll curve out something like that. Okay, and then we can possibly pull this in a little bit more closer to the edge here. Okay, and that will pull the construction line closer to the edge as well. Alright, so that looks good so far. And let's just double check from the top. Looks good from the top. And looks good from the side. So once we have this curvature here, let's have a look. Okay, so now we just have to edit these lines here. So this line is pretty good here, but edit the sketch, and let's go to the top. Let's go to the top here, and possibly gonna make it a bit longer. So about here. Okay, that looks good. Alright, then we're gonna make another sketch on the front plane here. Normal to profile. And obviously we're going to pull this from here, so we're gonna pull this line to about here, and we're going to adjust it later. It's going to sit somewhere there. And let's make our sketch here, spline, and we're gonna pull it from here, and then we're gonna pull it somewhere out here. Exit the sketch, and it's nice and parallel. Exit the sketch here, and we're just gonna do a quick sketch on sketch. So grab this one here and this lower one, and press OK. Alright, so now that's sitting on a perfect place now. It's not curving down or anything, and now we just have to fix up this curve here. So edit the sketch, and we're going to edit it from the side first. Something like that. And let's just double check from the top as well. And we still look good from the top. Okay, so that's good. So exit this one. So now we determine this line, and then we have determined this line here. So now we know how far things will go down. So that looks good. Okay. So all we have to do now is we're going to add a 3D spline. We're going to add the 3D spline from here to here. Exit the sketch. And we're going to have to give this line a nice profile, so of course. So this is the line that we just made. And we're going to give a profile about that much. And exit the sketch. Okay, now let's jump into our second display state. All right, and then we need to add another just want to make sure that we are on that edge. We are, that's good. And now we just have to add another 3D. And let's try to do it without adding another 3D sketch. Let's go to surfaces, and let's try to do a fill surface. using this edge, this curve, and it did created our surface here, which looks pretty good. All right. So it has the curvature here, and it has the concave here. But I believe it's dropping in this section a little bit too much. So I want to add a control curvature somewhere about here, just so that so that we see how that looks. So delete this surface. And let's add a control curve, 3D sketch, spline from this point to this point here. And we're just going to jump into the front. And then we're going to pull this up about that far, exit the sketch, and let's see what kind of surface we can bring out with these parameters. Alright, so let's go to surfaces, fill surface. And then this edge. And for constraint curve, let's select this one here. Oh wow. That one don't much, apply to all edges. That one don't much either. So let's delete this sketch here. Alright, and let's try and add a 3D sketch to this point. And let's try our fill surface with this one. It's probably gonna get a better surface this way. Alright, so that's a lot better surface. That's exactly what I was aiming for. So now we have the nice curvature out here, and it's starting to get straightened in towards this way with this tiny corner here. So that's exactly what we were looking for. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to knit these two parts together. Okay, that looking good. That's looking very good. Alright. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to grab another 3D sketch here. And we're going to come from this corner up to this end here. Of course, we're gonna try to pull it all the way to the edge. Okay. That's sort of on the edge, hopefully. And now let's fix up from the top. And I want to be close to the edge as possible. Let's put this in here. Put this heel about here. And that looks good. And then now let's fix up from the side. So you kind of want to follow this curvature here. And then we want to be somewhat straight, starting from the corner here. And it curves down in that direction. We can try and add a tangency with this line and this line here. And we can just pull this down a little bit so we don't have any overlapping geometry here. And that looks good. Let's just double check from the top. And as we can see, the tangency created something here that curves in, so we're not going to add that tangency. So we're just going to do some Control Z. So let's jump back into the top view. And just double check from the side. And everything looks good from the side. All right. That looks good. Exit the sketch. And now let's see if we can do a fill surface with this sketch and the edges. So no, that's good. All right, so let's go to 3D sketch, spline, and then we're just gonna stay on this edge here. All the way in there. And let's add another one. And stay on this edge. And maybe let's try and pull it all the way to this end here. Okay, and exit the sketch. And let's go surfaces and fill surface, and let's see if it gives it. Yes, it gives it us. That's good. All right, and now let's try and do a connect. It did do it. That's good. And then all these are connected together. So that's good. Of course, we can add a fillet on this one here. Let's try 1 millimeter fillet. Let's try just 0.5. 0.5. Okay, and we're going to add another fillet on this edge here. And this one we're going to try a 1. Let's try a little bit more. Stretch 3. 3 looks a lot better. Press OK. Okay. So that looks good over there. All right. And we have this beautiful edge here, which we can use. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this curve here. So let's go and hide some construction lines that we don't need. So let's hide this one here. And let's hide this point. Okay, so let's go and do a boundary surface, and let's check this line here and this whole curvature. Of course, we need to flip the connectors, and we're just gonna pull this down. We want to add tangency here, and then direction 2, we're going to choose this curvature, and we need to pull this down to that point. And let's have a look at the surface. And the surface looks beautiful, very fluid, and it does have a nice profile to it. Okay, let's go and trim some back so we can add our fillets on this side as well. So let's go and make a sketch on this top plane. I want to profile. And let's convert this edge here. Just gonna make it longer. And we're gonna pull it back. Well, not pull it back, but we're going to offset it. So offset. Let's try 1 millimeter on that offset. Offset. Or let's just do another sketch. And then let's try and do a parallel with these two lines. So control, and then we're going to make them no, I think it's good. Okay, let's pull this back to about here, and let's cut this sketch over there. And let's jump over to surfaces and trim this piece. Okay, and now we're just going to do a boundary surface between these two edges. Of course, we want tangency to face. All right, and let's knit this together. All right, that's looking good. Let's see if we can add a fillet here. Not. But we don't need because that looks good itself. We can always come back later and adjust it if we're not happy with it. But so far it looks good with all the corners that is on the real one. All right, so now we have to, now we're going to create this surface here. It comes in about here and curves down. Let's hide this line from this here. Okay. Okay, let's go back to second display state. I want to try something here. I want to do a boundary surface between this and then this edge. So boundary surface, selection manager, and then this edge here, selection manager. Let's delete that. And let's try that again. So selection manager, and then selection manager. And let's add tangency to face here. And let's pull this down a little bit. Let's all look at the surface here. Okay, so we got some fluidity here now. That's good, so we can longer our surface. So let's knit these two parts together. We can jump to our first display state, and let's add our glass. Alright, so let's make a sketch on this plane here. Let's convert this edge. And let's convert this edge here. Let's cut this. Okay. So let's go back here for a second and remove this glass appearance. Actually, we're going to remove this. It's got a tiny bit short on this side, but let's see if we can extend this surface a little bit. About that much. and that's perfectly fine with that one. Okay, so let's have a look from the top. So now we are right on that edge, so that's good. All right, so let's continue creating the surface here. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to make a sketch on this plane. And that sketch is going to go from about here. Let's grab the spline again. And then let's bring that spline from about back here. Yeah. And then we're gonna come all the way down to about here. Okay, so make sure you just go because we're going to need this surface here, and then it's not need to be it don't need to be close to the edge. All right, so let's make another sketch, and this sketch is going to be the front plane, and then we're going to grab this edge here. It's basically a fillet edge, so let's grab that edge here, and we're going to convert entities, and then I'll also want to anchor this. All right, so now that is anchored, and I think it's long enough as well, and I think it's not on level with that one. It don't need to be. It needs to be a little bit lower. So I want to add a little offset on this sketch here, and I want to try 0.5. 0.5. Okay, and then we're going to cut the top one. Okay, so that's gonna be a good drop, enough drop. If not, we can always adjust it. So exit the sketch, and then we're going to make a sketch on sketch with these two sketches. So this one and this one here. So our curvature is good, and we're going to jump into our second display state here. All right. And first sketch we're going to do here is going to be a 3D spline going from here to this point. Jump to the top. And then we're going to jump into the back. And we're going to give this curvature a little bit of profile. About that much. Okay, we don't need to pull it to the end. All right. And now let's bring back our first display state here. Jump into the top. And as we can see, As we can see, we need to make a sketch from this edge up to here, and we're going to add some tangency. So exit the sketch. We're going to jump into a 3D sketch and grab a 3D spline. I'm gonna go from here to here, and we're going to use the face and hold Control and use the sketch to create our tangency. Okay, let's do a Control Z actually, and let's see if we can grab a better hold Control and then make tangency on this one. I can't because it doesn't correlate between the two. But we want fluidity, which is important here. So let's take out the sketch for now. And actually, let's delete this face that we just made. Alright, and let's grab our 3D sketch spline from here to here. And let's see if we can add our tangency on that curvature now. So it's going to be a lot quieter tangency this way. Let's just have a look from the top what we got. Okay, and let's jump into our second display state. And let's hide some lines. This line here. Alright, so now let's add some 3D sketch, 3D spline. And we're gonna stay on this line, of course. Alright, so that's that. And another one going from here to here. Okay, and then we're going to try to do a field surface. So surfaces, field surface, and let's just select this one, and the face. So as we can see, we need to add a control curve here, just a little bit, so it doesn't fall into much. However, we will cut out most of it. But so let's have a look. Actually, go back in here, edit this face, and then we need to check this line, which is the S4. So I want to add tangency on that. Okay, and jump into our first display state. And let's see what we are cutting out. So we don't have to add a control curve, but we might. Let's add our glass appearance here. So we will cover cutting out most of it. So that will be good. So we don't need to add any extra control curvatures. However, I will just a little bit. So go back to our second display state. And let's go to splines, 3D sketch, 3D spline. And let's add one from here to here. And we're just gonna jump to the back and add a little bit of profile. Exit the sketch. And let's see what surface, let's see if the surface is going to improve. So surface is fill surface. Select the 3D sketches that we just made. Deselect this one because that's going to be a control one. Select the face here. S4 is going to be tangent, and constraint curve is going to be this one here. So that created quite a bump for us there, so that we're not going to use that control curve there. Edit, deselect. Okay, so let's cut out this area here. So see what surface we get once we got that out. Delete this one here. So first is first display state, sketch, normal to profile, and we're going to add a glass appearance. Not to the whole thing, just that one piece. Remove appearance. All right. So let's grab a spline, and we're gonna go from here. Exit, and I'm going to grab another spline from here to here. Exit, and another spline from here to here. Exit, and another spline from here to well, before we do that, we need to extend the surface a little bit. So let's go to extend surface to extend this a little bit. All right. So edit the sketch. So let's grab another spline from here to here. And another spline from here to out here. All right, and let's add some of these fillets here. Don't worry about that. And let's add another fillet here, here, and here. All right. And on this area here, we're going to leave it for now. And let's see if we can cut some stuff out. Okay, so let's go to trim surface, and we're going to trim out. Trim tool is going to be sketch, and we're going to trim out this area here. Okay, let's remove the class appearance. And our surface is beautiful. Exactly what we wanted. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror all of this over to the other side. But I think because we knitted some stuff together here, if we mirror everything over, it's going to overlap. So we need to cut off this half. So we can sketch on this top plane, normal to profile. And let's grab a line. I'm just going to come all the way here. And let's go to surfaces, trim surface, and we're going to trim. Okay. So we're going to do it differently. Project curve. Or we're just going to delete this face. Oh no. Alright. So Control Z to bring everything back. Okay, good. Control Z again. Alright. Alright, so I hope you haven't done that mistake which I did. If you did, you can just redo the whole thing that I did so far. Alright, so basically if you mirror everything over, it will overlap. So let's try and then do something else here. Let's go to our second display state and make a sketch here. And let's do a corner rectangle. Okay, and then surfaces and trim surface. Let's cut some of these. And let's do a split line. And then projection. Okay, so now we should be able to delete it possibly. Alright, so let's try and mirror actually things over. Sorry for the inconvenience. Let's go to features, mirror. And mirror face plane is this one here, and then bodies to mirror. It will mirror that over. Let's see if we can hide this one. And let's try to mirror now. So mirror faceplane this one, and bodies to mirror. So let's hide this one as well. And it hides everything. Control C. Alright, I'll come back to you in a minute. Alright, so let's try this way actually. Surface, boundary surface. Let's close this here. And let's knit everything together, hopefully. Alright, and then let's go to the top plane. And hopefully now we should be able to trim. So surface is trim surface. Yes, so that's we needed to knit these two gaps together in order to trim this area out. Okay, good. So that solved our problem, but that's what it is. Just, trial and error always. So mirror face plane, that's going to be that. And then let's mirror all of this over. Oh, well, not there, obviously. Control C, and then mirror again. And we want to mirror over the front plane, and then bodies to mirror. That's it, that's better. Okay, and now we just have to get rid of that thing with the center piece that we just add on. So let's go and make a sketch on the top plane here. Okay, and then let's make a center rectangle, or a corner rectangle is better. So start from here down to this point. Okay, and let's go to surfaces, trim surface, and let's trim the middle. All right, so that looks a lot better now. All right, so I'm going to leave this tutorial here, and then let's just double check something from the top. And we are all good all the way around. That's good. We're looking good from the side, and looking good from the front as well. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave this tutorial here. I hope I haven't caused any confusion in the end, but in the end, what finally figured out we had to close these gaps in order to trim out this other half so we can mirror over without overlapping. All right, see you back at the next tutorial.